Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. Today I want to bring you a review of my experience in the Hardcore solo self-found Flashback League. So as you guys know me, I am actually a softcore player, so actually I love to gear up my characters in standard, for example, at least not standard, in League, getting good trades, getting rich, buying Headhunter, playing fancy builds, whatever I want to do, you know. I'm just doing it, you know, for example, gambles, chancing a shaped headhunter and all that kind of stuff. But Flashback, I actually took the opportunity to try out hardcore solo self-found for the very first time in quotation marks, because I actually had one solo self-found character like 3, 4, 5 leagues ago. It was like a level 80 ESS Drain trickster or something. But I actually never really played hardcore, and this time around I was like, screw that, I want to have a demigod. Yes, it sounds unrealistic for a hardcore dedicated softcore player, let's say it like that, but I still wanted to give it a go. I just wanted to learn that aspect of the game, especially like racing, how to gear your character if you have not access to anything else, you know? So in this video, I want to go through all my rips that I had already, the characters that I played, the choices that I made, and that kind of stuff. Okay, so first of all, why actually hardcore solo self-found? So as I just said, I wanted to learn something new about the game, you know. I wanted to learn or to improve myself, because actually when I'm leveling up a new character in softcore, I have access to all my leveling gear, some 7 league step for movement speed, a tabula, gold rim, whatever stuff you have, you know. And usually I don't even make it deathless until mapping, because I'm just too bored to fix my resistance. I'm too bored to change gear throughout the mapping, or at least the leveling process, you know. So basically, I just equip my character in Act 1 and keep the gear until mapping, right? So usually on like Act 7, 8, 9, this is the time where I start to die sometimes, but then I'm like, hey, it's just 1 or 2 more acts, and then I'm to mapping, and then I have completely different gear anyways, right? So I wanted to learn this aspect too, how to make it possible that your character is not dying, okay? So that was the quest. So my first goal in this hardcore solo self-found league was getting to mapping without dying. That was the first goal. And hey, I did it actually on my second character. So let's start strictly with the rip clips and my choices that I did made or whatever, you know? So this is one that's still alive. It's currently a level 80 occultist. It's actually one of my signature characters nowadays, which is an ESS Drain Contagion. That's something I played since throughout so many leagues already, and I'm feeling pretty confident on this one already. CI, pretty decent character, but I'm talking about this one at the later stages. So let's start from the first day of the Flashback League. So sorry if I'm sounding a little bit weird or something. I just woke up trying to get this video ready and then start streaming again. So it's pretty hard at the moment, because I'm streaming like 12 hours a day or something, and then still trying to bring content and so on. So sorry for that. So let's start with the first character. That was basically, let me switch the scenes here. So that was basically the first day of the league. The countdown was running down. I actually didn't even want to play on this evening because it started at 11 p.m., right? So I was like, hey, I have a screwed up sleeping schedule anyways, but I don't want to play like all night long and just for some hardcore. The intention was actually, let's just play one character until it rips, and then, yeah, make a PoE break until 3.7 hits, so I'm motivated again, and so on, right? So, anyways, I was actually pretty tired. I was stopping streaming at like 8 or something, or 7. Then I was taking a nap, and I woke up at like 10 something, you know. I was like, hey, wait a second, half an hour, there's, flashback start, so let's just stream, whatever, you know. So, we're good. Basically, what I was thinking is, hey, I don't want to play an Elementalist, I don't want to play Winter Orb, I don't want to play Trickster, that kind of stuff, because 90% of the league is doing that, right? So I was just like, yeah, let's just play something I never played before. This is actually a bad thing to do, because first time hardcore, first time solo self-found hardcore, and then playing builds you never played before. This is actually a very dangerous mixture, but I was like, hey, this is a fun league for me. I want to try out some things. I want to learn more about the game, and there is nothing better than learning more about the game when playing builds you never played and in styles you never played, okay? So when this was going, you see here the league is starting in 10 seconds. I actually wanted to start racing, but then I had the idea, wait a second. People said I'm probably gonna die to Hillock. And then I was like, hey, wait a second. If we're actually just going and try to be the world first flashback hardcore solo self-on death in this league, right? So then I was like, hey, wait a second. Let's just grab the first zombies. I'm going to be the first hardcore solo self-found world first death. I did it! Died at position 5 on the ladder. That was let me stop this. This was actually the first time I ever read my name on a yellow thing here, right? I was dying position 5 on the ladder. I never came this far again. But this was just so good. So, that was a pretty good clip. So, then I was just relogging and then trying actually to bring the first character on the list, which was a Holy Flame Chieftain. So I never played Holy Flame before, Chieftain especially, no, I never played even a Chieftain, you know? So I was like, hey, let's give it a go. It should be actually easy to clear, you know, you have totems, the tanky, you know, it shouldn't be a big deal. I was just trying to focus on life all the way. If we're gonna check the skill tree, if we start as a Marauder, you know what you have? Life, 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 more life, 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 life. Some jewel slot, more life, more life, more life. So probably at level 25, you get your first damage node or something, you know? So until that point, I was just going live. I just was like, hey, I'm going to survive. No matter how long it takes, I can do this, you know? But yeah, it actually worked out pretty good. I did 3 laps on this character. I found that a lot of trials, and I was just pushing, and I was feeling confident. I had like 5,000 or 6,000 life or something. So it was actually pretty good. Until this point, you know, we have, the beyond mobs. So beyond bosses are pretty rippy in this league, and this is exactly what happened to the Rip clip too. I was just randomly mapping, trying to push the Atlas, and here you have it, Hast was spawning. Hast isn't really a big problem for me because, you know, at level, I was like class rank 30 on this point, which is pretty good. I had a lot of beyond bosses throughout the mapping, you know, they spawn like every freaking map like 2 or 3 times. It wasn't a big deal until then. But yeah. Let's watch the clip here. No! That was actually my first real hardcore solo self on death at level 85. I was so pissed. I was so insanely pissed. So what happened here is, this is what I want to do. I want to go over the Rip clips and just try to explain what actually happened, what killed me to make it better next time, right? So I was just, standing here. I was spawning my totems as usual, but then Hast came to my face. My totems can taunt, you know, so they have the ability once you reach like lap or something that your totems taunt. So at this point I had no totems up for whatever reason. I think he was just making some crazy AoE and just killing off all my totems, and yeah, he was straight walking to my face and then stun locking me with his frost bolts, ice spears, glacial cascade, whatever he's doing. So you see that I could not move, and I was just ripping away with 5k life as a pretty tanky character. So that was like very unfortunate. It was like, So my intention was actually, you know, kill your first character and then just leave the league. But for some reason, I was like always thinking, when I'm just a true softcore player, right? I was always thinking like, hey, if I play hardcore, one of my characters dies at some weird circumstances, I'm just gonna freaking punch my monitor and just leave this game and, you know, fuck it, you know. But in the other hand, I was dying, I was super pissed, I was logging out, I was creating a new character and kept on going. So, as a small, how are you gonna say that, comparison, right? When you play softcore, you have a build in your mind, right? You're gonna say, yeah, I wanna play an Arc Elementalist for example, right? Or I don't know, Stormbrand Scion or whatever you want to do, right? So you're gonna level up the character, then you go PoE trade and buy the gear you want to have, right? In hardcore, or at least like in solo self-found, it's based on the items that you find. So what I did is every time I found something, no matter how stupid it was, when I said like, hey, wait a second, that's actually not even a bad shield, for example, every time I found something that is not that bad, I just throw it on the stash because I could probably need it on another one. Second, let me switch that. Could probably need it on another character when I probably starting a new one, right? So I did this, I picked up every kind of uniques that I found, and yeah, with my Holy Flame Totem, I was doing some Nexus, and I found a Stormbrand can chain one additional time. So that means that my second character choice, like in this case the third character, was actually a Stormbrand Scion. So basically what I was saying, in softcore, you plan your build beforehand, right? In hard, or at least in solo self-found, you're more like, what items did I find, and what builds can I play around that, right? So I was having that helm, I was having some caster items, and I was like, hey, wait a second, I have a gold rim, let's just, yeah, play a Stormbrand Scion because I found the enchant, so that could come in very handy. So what I was doing was playing up a Scion. Scion is probably one of the weakest characters in a race, let's say it like that, because you need 3 laps to actually get your second ascendancy going, at least like the starting point from the first ascendancy. The 4th lap will grant you the second ascendancy. So that's the problem. So you have to level from your Scion wheel. You have no chance to go anywhere else. So you're gonna start from your Scion wheel and do whatever, and then once you have the lap, you're gonna reset a lot of your skill points just to have a different starting area, right? So what I was doing was trying to get the Scion as good as possible into Blood Aqueduct. So that's the area in Act 9 where you can like speed level, basically. It's this bridge here. And you can farm a tabula rasa. So my idea was trying to survive and then go lap after lap after lap, and then start as an Inquisitor Elementalist Stormbrand. That was the idea. So on the way, you want to have, as a Stormbrand character, you want to have Runebinder. So you can have one additional brand attached to the enemy, so you basically double your DPS. Since you're starting as a Scion, this is here, you have a really, really long and hard way trying to get this node, right? And there is a lot of other nodes, especially on a hardcore character. You don't want to really just rush everything until this point here. You want to go for survivability, so that's why I made up my skill tree to the right side, taking ES nodes, life nodes, left and right, trying to make it a survivability character. So I never had access to this point over here, so my mapping, or at least like the leveling process, was pretty slow. But I still managed to reach this, because Stormbrand is pretty cool at bossing, and it's a pretty safe variant. And the problem was when I was farming the Blood Aqueducts for a Tabula Rasa, because I was like, hey, if I have a Tabula, I have a 6-linked Stormbrand, that could be actually pretty insane, right? And yeah, this is what I was doing. I was farming Blood Aqueducts like non-stop until like level 69. Yeah, 69, until I had the last cards going, which is actually pretty fast, but you have to think, on my my Chieftain, I found a couple cards, like 4. So on the Stormbrand, I only had to farm 5 cards. Then I finally had my Tabula, so I was like, okay, I'm level 69, I have my Tabula, I have my 6-link, let's go lap, let's get this Inquisitor starting area running so I can continue in mapping. Yeah, unfortunately, I was playing as an Eldritch Battery Mind Over Matter. So if you're gonna take this clip here, switch the scene again and see what's going on here. So I was having 0 energy shield, 0 mana, but energy shield as my mana pool, right? So what happened here is, like, every time I get damage, I lose energy shield based on mana, and then at some point, if you're getting damage too often, you cannot cast anymore. So this is what happened. Let's just watch the clip and then rewatch it. People in solo self on hardcore don't go Scion at all, just because of this stupid lap. Yeah, okay, so what happened here is I was just opening the door. I got instantly completely bursted down by these enemies. You see, I have no mana, no energy shield. I couldn't cast Flame Dash, and that was a big problem, you know? If you have no mana and no facing or something, you cannot get away here. So I was spamming my flasks. I weirdly got to a quite good HP pool again, and I was like, hey, wait a sec, I can just run away from this. On this point, I want to say I'm not playing with a logout macro, okay? So I don't have that. I don't want to play with that. I think like the hardcore spirit should be more like make your character as good as possible, make your character survivability really good, so you don't need that. If your character dies, you don't need to save it with a logout macro. Although it's pissing you off if your character dies, obviously, but I just didn't want to go this way. So as I said, the problem was I was constantly getting damage. My Mind Over Matter killed all my energy shield, and I couldn't do anything else but just sitting there. And then I tried to log out, but I was too slow. And then, yeah, this is basically you farmed a couple of hours, like probably like 5, 6, 7 hours in Blood Aqueducts, getting your tabula rasa finally, because I never got it on Kadiro or found it like that way. And yeah, then you finally decide to go lab, and you die there on the way. Not even Isaro killed you. Some weird mobs here killed you. So that was really pissing me off. So the next thing I wanted to do, because on this point I was like so mad that I was like, whatever, what do we have on stash? So I was checking my stash again, and I found my, where is it actually? I found some dancing duo sword. Here it is. I found the dancing dervish. That's the pre-step of the dancing duo, which is actually a pretty fun build, but I tried it once, but I wasn't like too happy with it. So I ditched it again. But in hardcore solo self, and I was like, wait a second, if I have those dervishes, they are killing for me, so I'm safe. That was the reason why I said, like, I'm going to play Necromancer next and trying to get this sword rolling. So I never leveled up as a Necromancer. People in chat helped me saying, like, go zombies with SRS, like, what they're called? Summon Raging Spirit. And then at some point switch to Spectres and do that kind of stuff. So I was trying that. It was super slow. I have no idea about this flash offering, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. But I was just about hitting level 30. And I got my first Spectres. And then there is Cole. Cole is the brother from Brutus in the Lunaris Temple. And yeah, unfortunately, since we have Flashback, there are some tormented spirits sometimes. And guess what? No! Fucking hell, dude! No! Cole got ghosted and basically killing me with a 2-shot, I think. It was like 2 shots, I think. Wait, 1, 2. Yeah, so he 2-shotted me. So yeah, ghosted Cole is something people told me that a lot of people dying in hardcore because of things like that. So you should probably just relog or skip it or doing something else, because this boss, or at least this mob, this unique boss, dude is super strong, especially when he's ghosted. So then I was still like super mad. Like my Chieftain died, my Scion died. Then you play up some new character trying to get to level 58 to equip the dancing dervish, and you die on Act 3. So I was so mad, and I was like, hey, what's the next thing we're gonna do? Let me quickly check what was the next thing. I think it was my Molten Striker. Ah, yes. So yeah, I found throughout the leveling, I found a lot of really good melee uniques, starting from Crimson Gloves to where is the other stuff? I had some good swords, some unique things, especially this one, Inspiri's Edge, which is a pretty decent leveling sword here. And I was like, okay, next time, I just couldn't find any good caster stuff, so I was like, yeah, then let's play melee, because I found a lot of melee uniques that I could use, right? And I had a lot of fun, and the last time I was playing Molten Strike was back in 3.3, I think, Incursion League. I think Molten Strike was my league starter back then. And yeah, I was leveling this guy up. It was feeling super good, super fast. You know, a lot of endurance charges. I even had the Chaos rings, not the improved, the Chaos way, but the cheap one, but still gives you 1 maximum endurance charge. I was like, let's play a beefy, tanky juggernaut, Molten Strike, and yeah, give it a go. I was level 71 in this clip. I was just about to do the 3rd lap, the Merciless lap. and I made a fatal mistake on building my character. It was super cool. I had multiple cast when image taken setups in with Immortal Call, with Tempest Shield, with Golems, Blood Rage. Like everything was like self-functional, right? I was just leap slamming around using my totem and Molten Strike. The rest worked like a charm. It was a really good character. I'm super sad that this one actually died. But yeah, as I was saying, I had this stupid mistake that I put in an Immortal Call. As a juggernaut, or at least like as a character that focuses on endurance charges, you don't want to do that, because you want to keep up your endurance charges all the time, because it gives you a lot of survivability, starting from less physical damage taking, then regen, like all that kind of stuff. So what happens here, I was just doing the third lap, that's the last Isaro. I know that my totem has Culling Strikes, I was like, yeah, Ease Clap, right? So as you see, my Immortal Call procs, and I lose all my endurance charges. Then I got like a pretty big hit. I mean, on this point, I had a lot of life gain on hit. I had a lot of life regen. I had a lot of armor. So I was like, yeah, whatever, right? I ran out completely of flasks. I was jumping away. I was just like, wait a second. Isaro is almost dead. Summon your totem. Let it call it, you know. But in the end, he got me. And yeah, so let's rewatch this clip in his full thing. I was dying mid-air, Isaro was almost dead. That pissed me off so hard. It was like, I had so much fun with this Molten Striker. I just love this character. I don't know what to say. The Scion was like good, but this one was like one of, I think like this was my favorite character. And I died in lab as a juggernaut. That was like, god damn it. Then I was like, hey, wait a second. I still have a lot of melee stuff. What could we do next? Let's just go full R-Tart, you know, and let's play Cyclone, Slayer Cyclone, because I had the Chaos weapon. Where is it? I had like Bright Beak. I still have Bright Beak on my stash for faster leveling, which is pretty good. I had a Chaos Supremacy, which is a pretty good starting weapon for mapping, you know, until you get like a tier disfavor or something. That was like, I have so much melee stuff, let's make it happen. Let's make a Cyclone Slayer. Cyclone was super slow. It was by far the slowest character that I tried to level here. And yeah, as you can see here, the Cyclone speed is like super slow, the damage was bad, but I still was motivated to do that. I think it was like a pretty cool character. And yeah, Mr. Krabs here, the Brine King, Act 6 boss, you know, yeah, had other ideas. Let's watch the clip here. Oh, nice. Ooh, the quality is super good. So, a lot of people said, why don't you use this pussy method, where you say like, every time Brine King goes in his face, you just go back to town, enter the portal, and then you have your 30 seconds timer where you cannot get damage, right? I should actually have done that, but I was never doing that before, because I think dodging is something you should be able to do, right? And what's weird here is I have like 2,000 life in Act 6, and if you see my life pool, I was just leeching. Here I drop a little bit, but I'm killing those mobs here. I was like, yeah, 90% life, and I just got one-shotted from this water fountain, right? That was like super sad. I really had hopes and dreams of this character, trying to make Cyclone good again. But yeah, unfortunately this boss has something against me, and yeah. So, on this point... by the fucking water, shit. On this point, guess what? I was super pissed, like so many times before that. And then I was like, hey, wait a second. I could go back to my signature champion. ESS Drain is something I played throughout so many leagues already. I feel super confident on that one. So let's stop trying these experiments and try to bring a nice character going. And hey, it's still alive. It's about level 80 at the moment. And it's working pretty good. I'm like somewhere close to the yellow tier maps. My ranking is somewhere, I don't know, like somewhere way behind everybody else. But I have a lot of fun with this character. It's actually pretty fast. But then all of a sudden I got a drop on some Act some map tier 5 or something, and I found a Chaos Heart. A pretty well-rolled Chaos Heart. And this is something I will have loved to use on my jug. And yeah, as you can imagine, I still want to play melee. I still want to get this super beefy jug going that even if I play super drunk, completely wasted in 3 a.m. in the morning, I cannot die. This is the plan, so I can actually push the ladder, you know? So what I was thinking is, hey, what build is good with a Chaos Heart? Righteous Fire. But for Righteous Fire, you need a lot of resistance, and the upgrade Chaos Sign Ring, the Chaos Way, you need a Cephal's Frame. So what else could we do? Actually, wait a second. Onigarashi. What about Onigarashi? So Onigarashi is a 6-linked sword that drops from Uber Hillock in the Twilight Strand. They changed the... before that, you had to get to level 7 to make it possible to drop. They fixed that. They said you can get Uber Hillock whenever, but the drop chances are way lower. So guess what? Yesterday, I was taking a day off on stream, and yeah, started to farm Uber Hillock. The problem is I have, at the moment, a play time of... 2 hours 17 minutes multiplied by 4 because I leveled up 4 characters on this journey. So it makes it like more than 8 to 9 hours that I spent purely playtime, you know, not about relogging and that kind of time. So you can say more than 10 hours already into trying to farm Uber Hillock and get this Onigarashi going. So I can use an Onigarashi Infernal Blow Chaos Heart Juggernaut super beefy character as the next project. And I'm gonna be honest, I think these 2 characters probably gonna be the last ones that I try out in Flashback, because at some point I really wanna make a break in PoE, because yeah, soon we have 3.7, I think like in 2 weeks or so, 3 weeks. So I always make a small break before the new league approaches, which this one, to be motivated again, you know. I don't want to play until the last second, at least it's not planned, but I actually plan to play only 1 character in Hardcore SSF. Yeah, it's today I'm gonna probably, if I find the sword, gonna make the 8th character. God, my English, holy shit. We're gonna see how this is going. As I said, I'm trying to farm this sword now. Usually it takes people about 15 to 20 hours to get this sword, so we're gonna see if I get it today or tomorrow. And then we're gonna start a new character. I want to try out Infernal Blow, because Infernal Blow has a pretty good clear speed as a melee, so I was like, hey, let's get this one going. And if this one dies, I still have my Occultist, where I can try to push the ladder. And yeah, this is it, basically. This is the current progress. So, what would I say at the end of this journey, or at least like at the current state? Was it worth it? What is my, general feeling about this? So I have to say, I learned a lot of things about the game throughout this 1 week of Hardcore Solo Self-Found. I'm building different now. I'm building way more tank. I mean, obviously you gotta do this as a hardcore character. But I finally could manage to get to mapping without dying, which is pretty good. So now I'm trying to get level 90 on a hardcore character, and the Uberlap, I found already all trials. And I gotta say, I'm pretty sure I improved my gameplay a lot just because of trying to get these my personal goals going, you know. I learned to use items that I usually not even pick up when I'm playing softcore. I learned to build around items that I found. Basically, it's just a complete different experience, and I'm having way more fun than I was expecting to have. And I gotta say, it's amazing. If you never did that and you're just watching this as a softcore player usually as well, the Flashback League is going for like 1.5 more weeks. Give it a go. Just try to make a character that survives, actually. Give it a go. You're gonna see, you're gonna like it. And yeah. On the other hand, I'm gonna say I'm not going to start Hardcore Solo Self-Found in the 3.7 League, because at the end I want to enjoy the game the best way I can, and this is just having fun with a lot of different builds and a lot of currency to make gambles and stuff. So I'm definitely not going to convert into a hardcore player just because of the Flashback League. But it's a very nice thing to try out. But probably at some point, I want to attend on some races. I want to get some good speed going. So at some point, like when the league is like 2 months old and everything is getting boring, basically, you did a lot of gambles, and yeah, league is dying basically. Then on this point, you're gonna start racing. You're gonna start preparing and do stuff like that. So I hope you enjoyed this kind of video. I'm going to chill a little bit and then stream, and hopefully, wish me luck that I get the Onigarashi, and yeah, we're gonna see how that character works out. I mean, just imagine, you farm 20 hours for an Onigarashi, and then you die on Brine Killing again. That would be, yeah. But this is something I don't like on hardcore as well, right? You're gonna invest your time, you're gonna farm up your gear, you have some good RNG, find something very cool like the Chaos Heart, and then you die and you don't have access to it anymore, which, yeah, it sucks. So that's why I love softcore. If you achieve something, if you get a good Watcher's Eye or something, you're gonna keep it, you know, or you sell it or whatever. So it doesn't happen that you die by accident, by lag, or packet loss or whatever, and just completely lose it. Yeah, so I'm off to streaming now. Thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching, and see you on the next video.